Rolling camera. Three, two, one. Rolling sound. Who are you?
I am Stefan McLeod, born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia, Decatur, Georgia, through that area. Had some wild experiences, but learned from them, and just kind of a easygoing guy, willing to do kind of pretty much about anything once. Well, let me take that back. Probably not anything, but have a good adventure at least once.
What was your childhood like? And what were some lessons that you learned then that you carry with you today?
Okay. I had a really good childhood. Just when I think of good childhoods, I kind of think of, going outside, having fun with your friends, flag football or tackle football in our case, having a little snow days here and there, going to the pool. I honestly wouldn't change anything about my childhood. I mean, some things happened, but I mean, I feel like that all gets you to where you are now. Um, the second part of that question I forgot.
It's what are some important lessons that you learned then that you carry with you today?
Gotcha. Yeah, no. Yeah, when coming up, I kind of learned to take things a little more serious than I did when I was a kid. When I was younger, I just kind of just was never a serious going guy. Like I kind of waited last minute and do a lot of things, got bored with a lot of things and moved on. So coming up and getting more into the world, I kind of learned from being younger, like you have to be a little more serious in this life, if you want to make something out of it.
How does a flower grow?
That's a good question. I don't really, I wouldn't really call myself a plant guy or a gardener or anything like that. Uh, I imagine though, like probably many people before me said, you kind of have to give it love and tender and care for it. Just you adding water to it and throwing it out in the sun probably just won't do because you just got to be mindful of it and just kind of know that you have to care for it and nurture it and make sure it grows and it becomes what you want it to.
All right. I'll ask you to give me a random number between 1 and 100.
3.
Are you doing what you believe in, or are you settling for what you're doing? What would you rather be doing, or why do you believe so deeply in what you're currently doing?
Oh, feel like that's a loophole right there. It goes around in a circle. Um, so am I doing what I believe in? I, so that's a hard one to answer. Honestly, I don't really know the answer to that one. So, I mean, I believe in a lot of things. I think if you're talking about living your life to what you believe and kind of going by your own word, then yes, I tend to kind of not necessarily make my own rules, but I set my own rules and I follow them. And there's a certain way that I want people to be treated, and same, even though it goes with me, I want to be treated a certain way. So I try to put that out in the world. So in that sense, I think yes, I kind of do what I believe in, as some might say, do as you preach or whatever. Um, as far as the second part, that was, am I,
It's what would you rather be doing, or
oh,
why do you believe so deeply in what you're doing?
um, honestly, I couldn't say I'd rather be doing anything. As far as life goes, life, I like my life. I mean, I wouldn't change any or many things about it. As far as work, I have fun at work. I mean, there's always something else and something green on the other side. As people say, you can always peek over there and look, but then, like most people, you kind of get over there and you kind of find like it's not enjoyable, or it's not what you thought it was going to be. So I tend to not think about what I could or what else and all that, because at the end of the day, I mean, it didn't happen, and you got to think that had to happen for a reason.
Please give me another number from 1 to 100.
60.
What is the darkest thought that you've ever had? What about the darkest thing, or excuse me, what about the darkest thing that you've never told anybody?
The darkest thought I've ever had. Ugh. That's probably when I was little. Just kind of going back, trying to think throughout my life. Some of the craziest things I've thought or done or thought about doing. It's probably I have to say because people don't put as much weight as into words as they should. And I think some of the darkest things I've done is probably when I was younger, and I kind of said things and did things that I really didn't mean and really didn't know would hurt people in the type of way that it did. uh, and kind of toying with people's emotions or feelings, like that's a very powerful thing. And as someone that's had that done or happened to me before, continuing growing up, you kind of realize like that was wrong. And sometimes you want to go and say sorry, but you kind of know that bridge is kind of burned, so you probably shouldn't go back. But I probably definitely say that some of the darkest things I've done or said or did was probably to the effect of hurting somebody's feelings or playing around with somebody's feelings when I shouldn't have.
Please give me another number from 1 to 100.
45.
What's one thing that bothers you the most about the world today?
I hate to be that guy, but I just kind of feel like in general, it's kind of got a lot softer and a lot more peppering going on. Like, I understand some things happen and all that stuff, but like, I see some of these things and it's just kind of mind-boggling and kind of questionable, some of how people act and how people get away with things and how they're offended by things. And I get it, everybody has the right to their own opinion and their own thoughts and their own feelings, but at the same time I just don't think it's right to force that down other people's throat and kind of relentlessly just in their face about it, because now you're doing the same thing you are fighting about having on your own. Like, it's just kind of one of those things that kind of irks me. And I'm not saying like you shouldn't fight for what you believe in or anything like that. I just always think there's a good way to do it and there's a bad way to do it. And recently I feel like it's been more of a bad way to do it versus a good way.
Please give me another number from 1 to 100.
75.
Think about the people you love the most in your life. What do you do for them?
So if I really care about someone or love someone, i.e., mother or a girlfriend or whatever, like typically is not much I wouldn't do for them if they ask. My main thing is just try to be there and try to be reliable and account for my actions, make sure like I put time and respect and everything towards them. That way they know that they're valued and they're not just something that is in my life or vice versa. Like, I actually care about them and their relationship.
Please give me one final number between 1 and 100.
We'll say 100.
How do you wish to be remembered?
So that's a tough one. I just kind of want to be known as, just easygoing, kind of fun guy, someone that you could depend on and someone that people could rely on. And, if you had a problem or issue, you could have came to me and, I would have helped you through it or talked you through it or even just been the ear if that's what you needed at the time.
How do you find meaning in your daily experience? What propels you through life?
So, for me, it's just kind of making the best out of every day. Knowing that some days are going to be crappy, some days will be good. You just gotta take the punches and you just gotta keep rolling and just don't let yourself get to the point where you kind of are down or depressed or just second guessing all the time about what you're doing and how you're doing it, because I feel like that's the gateway to how people kind of get to the places where they do things that could potentially end your life or something like that. So typically I just try to kind of be upbeat, positive. Every day you're not going to be happy and upbeat or anything, but it's I figure if 6 out of 7 days you are, then you got to be doing something right.
What has the experience of living been like for you to this point? What can people learn from your life?
Life is it's living's been good. I mean, can't complain about it. I mean, I've had my hard times. I've dealt with death, a lot of death. I've also had blessings and things happen to me and family that's not necessarily blood family come into my life and enhance it overall, which, when you're growing up and you're kind of going through some of the things I did, those options you don't really think about. But then they happen, and then it kind of opens your eyes to more possibilities and kind of puts you on a more straight path. So, um, my biggest thing I would probably tell people, don't necessarily close off or become one minded to something because of what's happened in the past. Like, something can always happen. Someone can always come in and help, even if it's someone that you never considered or thought about. I mean, you never know what your cards hold, so don't just cut yourself off.
All right, this is the big question and the reason we're here today. Life is fleeting. We never know when it's our time. If these were the last words that were ever recorded of you, what would you say about your life and your legacy?
Well, honestly, so I'm kind of one of those guys because have dealt with death a lot, and my mindset about thinking about death is a little altered. So, if I was to say this was my last word and I was going to be seen by other people, then I would just probably say I would want them to be hung up or stuck, or I mean, you'll be sad, but move on, have your life, and just I know it might be hard and all that stuff, but I mean, I live my life and I have no regrets, so you shouldn't either. Like, I would want them to move on and, find love or wherever, somewhere else, and be open and just think about the good times, not the bad times. And, my message would be just for the people, in other words. Like, I just feel like not a lot of people say things that they should when they're living. And when, you're gone is a little too late. So that's my biggest thing is I just want everybody to know, like, it's okay.
So I'll ask you one final time. Who are you?
Well, I think overall, people might think I care too much and value other people's opinion and stuff, but it's just I care about people. So I think overall, I'm just a guy that cares about people and like to have people happy around him. If that's me bringing the joy, or someone else, or being a part of something. So I think that's who I am the most. Is just someone that cares.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks.
Thank you. And that's a wrap.
All right.